This is for church leaders, especially pastors. I received this email from Matt Steen. It talks about 5 team killers in church leadership. And he's an expert in leadership, and some behaviors are like cancer to a leadership team. Are any of them part of your leadership team? And so here's the author. Matt Steen has been a youth pastor, executive pastor, and a church planter. He loves helping churches thrive through his work at Church Simple. And, by the time it has come to the point of name calling and finger pointing in your leadership, we all know that the end of a team is near, or the end of your leadership in a particular church or leadership role is about to end. And so we are to understand this one carefully, what is being pointed out here. And team building is an art, not a science. What it means is that even if you know so much of what you know, it is not how knowledgeable you are, how skillful you are of what you know, but team building involves art. It's how the way you do it is not just perfectly done. Not everything is according to science, like 1 + 1 = 2 and exactly result as it is expected. No, it's not like that. It's an art. It's how you dance with it, it's how you relate yourself, and how you lead. Now, a healthy team is not always the case, and so we need to identify some of these team killers who are like cancer in your leadership. For example, overfunctioning. What does it mean is that some are doing too much. For example, a pastor is doing so much and the members are not. Now, that is not good. Why? It will lose some face for some members, and they will create some problems. Or perhaps some members are doing too much and some leaders are not, or the pastor is not doing much, and that will create again another problem. They should be together. If doing much, it should be together. If doing less, it should be together, because that is the one that actually, when you're at the same level with each other, that is a bit okay, and there's not much tension in it. Now, another one is mind reading. Now, do you or does your team make assumptions about your other team members' thoughts, agendas, or motivations? Your assumptions are very dangerous if they are not correct assumptions. Now, I would rather not assume. I was trained in the seminary not to make any assumptions, because most likely it is not correct, and so we would rather not do that. In Matthew 7:1-6, Jesus is so clear: do not judge others. That is in the context of reading others' motives. Like, you have an assumption reading their motives. Rather than assuming or reading their motives, why not actually listen carefully? Right? The next point we'll go to that one. Now, individually, we do not have a right to judge others' motives. As a church, we have the right to judge, and that is Matthew 18, which we'll talk about later on. And so, please, if you're a leader of any level, from the church to the higher one, now, mind reading is not a good thing. Assumption is not a good thing, You'd rather find out rather than assume. And it has to go through a process. And the next one will show. So another one is lack of listening. Can your team listen? Not just a church team, even a team of leaders or a team of pastors. I mean, truly listen to one another, or our conversations merely a group of people talking to one another? Now, for a team to thrive, for leadership to thrive positively, there should be thorough listening. For example, if one report is given, for example, if a church elder is reporting to a leader they're up, the process should be, when, for example, a pastor is to be complained, the process should be, it's between elders and the pastors first, and thorough listening. And then, if the pastor does not listen, to win him back. The idea there's restoration, restorative listening. It's not criticism. It's not putting him down, because nobody's perfect, not even the elders, not any leader. And so, if we understand Matthew 18:15-17, it should go through a process. If you know your brother sins, that is the correct translation from the latest, from the available Greek manuscript and the latest scholarship. Not according to King James Version, like it says, if you know your brother sins against you. That is not correct translation. And so, if you know your brother sins, if it is not against you, now you win him over. Bring another one to listen. Like, for example, a pastor is believed to be doing something, or any leader believed to be doing something wrong or sinning. Now, win him over first, privately, and then with another person an elder, and then with a group of elders, and then church board, and then with the whole church. So that is a process. If you do the other way around and not doing the process, that is backstabbing. The enemy is happy with that one, and it is not the Spirit of Christ, because the Spirit of Christ actually is going through a process, giving the one being complained his day for due process to be properly heard. So that is listening. So there should be lack of listening in talking about a case or anybody, or probably, you know, when you have something in the church, in your leadership, have a thorough listening, not lack of listening. It's very, very important. And if we backstab anybody and create some gossip, we are actually sinning against God deliberately, and that is not good. All right, and so handle the case very carefully by thoroughly listening with due process. And mistrust in your leadership, this is also a leadership killer, as like a cancer. If you think that your members are listening to you and they trust you, and they should cooperate. But if they start questioning what you're doing, and it means that they have mistrust already. Now, among leaders or pastors, if you don't trust your team also, and you just listen to anybody without verifying personally from the person being complained, that is a mistrust. And what is done to that person may come back to you if you do it deliberately, by gossiping or by anything. Later on, it will come back to you, and it will be so hurting. So one action gives another reaction. That is not good. So in here, have trust as a team. It is important to trust each other among pastors, among church elders, among leaders in the church. Trust is very important in leadership and organization. Once you have mistrust, you start to question as a show of mistrust. That is not good. It's the end of your leadership. Now, lack of community. For example, in here, it is important that we live in a community, like not separating group over the other, like, as if one is not connected. Like this group is doing well and the other one is not, like they are competing, and there's no sense of community, no sense of unity, and that is a lack of community. It is important to do that we really be united as a community. And so there are a lot of things in here that we can discuss. This is not a complete exhaustive list. What you think are the biggest team killers in the church or your leadership? I would appreciate if you discuss more. You can like or dislike or subscribe or not subscribe to this video. This is not done perfectly, because the idea here is just for this idea to come across to anybody, not perfect one. And so you can react, you can show your contribution. I would appreciate that. Rolly here, and let's pray for each other for better leadership, rather than have distrust or criticize. There's no perfect pastor, there's no perfect leader, there's no perfect elder, there's no perfect leader in any sense. So only one perfect is Jesus. If we help each other and we are in a team, we are trust each other, and that is the way we do as a church. And I believe God is happy with what we are doing. And have a good day. Pastor Rolly here. Till next video.